What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Ramble cast because reasons. And
Reasons! Reasons is our
reasons.
intel guy.
Yes, because of reasons. But anyways, as you can tell, I'm clearly joined by
Matt the Vet from Fearless
this
Games.
game. And we originally were going to get all occult mage on you, but we decided no. So,
That is not
so
in the stars yet, just
not
yet.
just yet. Instead, the next edition of 40K is coming out.
It is.
It's gonna happen whether you want it to or not. I wanted to. I'm
Well,
I'm mostly pumped.
to be fair, everywhere I've been going, and we do talk about this on our podcast, from everything I'm hearing, everybody wants this.
Yes, the moment it comes out, everybody will say, "I don't want this," but
This is awesome! I'm burning my army now!
yeah, basically. But one of the things, kind of, sort of out of left field, was that teaser trailer for basically the Gulliman project.
The Gilliman, why are you messing with things you're not smart at?
Well, he's a Primarch. He's smart. He's got his gene legacy to stabilize stuff. That is his big Ultramarine GNC legacy. Is that his is ultra like not that he's the only stable one.
He's like the most stable next to the Dark Angels.
They're both equally stable, but his is
He's
like
got a gene seed.
yeah, and his is also like, for lack of a better term, calming. Like it can fix things. Like
Yes,
it doesn't just take and go well, but also is like able to make things more compliant. But so
but it's Gilliman. I mean, it's Imperial Secondus. Come on, man.
yeah,
Your
well,
ideas are good.
no, he's a genius. He's got Call on his side, and evidently they've been planning this for like since before his internment in stasis. Apparently,
Interesting. I didn't hear that.
it's kind of like it's something that they write about, and when you look at like when they talk about the trailer, a plan 10,000 years in the making is about to come to fruition. It's like really,
Right.
really 10,000, really. So Call is a bajillion years old, really.
They've already they've been claiming Crawl is from the Horus Heresy for a while.
I know, but I always just ignored it because I'm like, you're drunk. But now it's like,
Well, he's a tech priest. How much of him really is alive anymore, really? He's
I
more
know that,
machine now than man. Twisted, corrupted, and evil.
but like, just because the Mechanicum basically had a big reset button where everybody died and everybody, reset because of Dark Mechanicum during the Horus Heresy and all that.
Mm.
But yeah, I know he's really old, fine. But I'm like, really, they've been planning this for 10,000 years. Okay, but what we're basically looking at is what people have been doubling on interwebs as Super Space Marines.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly clad in a greater mark of power armor,
Yes.
larger,
Um,
more imposing.
Rumors that I have heard. This is what I've heard on. I don't know why I'm making that sound weird. I apologize. From what I've been hearing, rumor is we're gonna later. One of the rumor is later down the line as GW pops out more information every day. One of the things they're going to discuss is these supposed super space marines. That they're in Mark 10 power armor. They kind of skipped Mark 9 and went straight to Mark 10.
As you do.
And they are closer to like custodian guards, and they're going to be an elite choice in Space Marine armies. So people who want true scale Marines can buy them and make them true scale Marines. People who are like, but I want all my Marines to stay the same, can just go, okay, these are an elite choice, and that's why they're different.
Right. It's got me on both sides of the fence thinking about it, because on the one hand, it intrigues me for how I like to play. How I like to play is a small, elite, hardened force. That's why I like Deathwing. That's why I like the Thousand Sons Legion. They're always, they're points heavy. They're
They're
be
very
small.
points heavy.
They're gonna be small, and they're gonna pack punch, and always punching above their weight class and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm intrigued on that level as far as my playstyle because you have Super Space Marines. Clearly, like they're gonna be points heavy.
Yes.
I, on the one hand, find it interesting that there'll be a elite choice for Space Marine armies because that sets it up for not necessarily every Space Marine getting them,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm fine with. But I
I mean,
also
we've been dealing in that for generations, where Space Marines get everything, but only those in the Space Marine Codex get it.
right, and I'm fine with that, and even fine with however they want to go about it, whatever.
Yeah.
At the same time, I would I'm while I would like it, I'm also equally glad they're not their own self-contained army. Because then it's like, why would I play Space Marines ever? But
Yeah.
but here's the deal: tampering with the gene seed is taboo and basically heresy.
Mm-hmm.
The cursed founding shows what happens when
When you
I
do
guess,
that.
which makes me go, Call, where were you during this time? They were trying it back then. But
Well, he didn't have a Primarch in front of him to extract DNA from.
it's true. But so this looks like a successful cursed founding, basically, because the cursed founding was trying to make mini Primarchs, essentially almost custodian guard.
Yes.
The thing is, whatever they do, and I have some theories on my own of how they could go about making these super space marines. They have to basically be the mule or the donkey approach, whatever. I forget exactly. When you basically, which one is it? You breed a horse with a donkey to get a mule.
I don't know. This is news to me. I've
Oh,
never
you
heard
breed
of
a
this before.
well, one of those breeds is between those other two. I always confuse donkey and mule, but the point is the offspring is a really strong workhorse, but it's sterile.
Mm-hmm.
From my understanding, I'm not a vet, so I use that analogy because whatever they do here should be a total loss system, meaning any gene seed that goes into it cannot be extracted later on. They don't make their own gene seed back like Space Marines do.
A male horse and a female donkey have a hinny. A female horse and a male donkey have a mule.
Okay, so there you go.
And
Now
mules
you know.
can't have babies of their own. But hennies and mules can't have babies of their own.
There
They
you
are
go.
sterile because they can't.
Yep. So that approach to Space Marines, meaning, as we know in Space Marine morphology, they have gene seed that can be harvested from them.
Yes.
Upon death or upon being very venerable, they have another gene that can be surgically removed if they reach that maturity. So they could harvest for future generations of Space Marines. These super duper 9,000 guys, I hope they make it where there is no gene seed to harvest from them, because if you harvest genes, like, and my thought process, my feeble mind says Super Space Marine gene seed would make Super Space Marines.
Mm-hmm.
And while it would be cool to be an eventual evolution of Space Marine dumb, I think to keep it just an elite choice, they should have no gene seed harvestable. And there's a couple ways you can approach that. What are your thoughts on that idea?
I think, to a degree, I kind of agree. I like the idea of these are super ultra space marines, don't lose them because we can't make more of them type of thing. It's a long and grueling process. And then you have that whole, resource issue, which is a very big thing in the 41st millennia, is draining resources after resource after resource, and then you start taking equipment more precious, like in that one book where Space Marines are like, this isn't given to you because the resources to make it are too valuable to waste on somebody who won't really appreciate it.
Yeah, basically.
So I do agree. I think that they should be something, if they are a thing, that are really hard to produce, and you can't just go out and harvest their gene seeds and just make more of them out of that.
I think also it could bring good interplay with the whole concept of fluff that's been around forever, which is gene seed tithing. That gene seed goes somewhere.
Yep.
Now they could be making use of it. And this could bring up, if, for example, well, let's be honest, Space Wolves aren't getting one. And I say that because their gene seed's so degenerative.
You
It
really
wouldn't make
don't
sense.
want them having one.
Well, even it's not the. I would say I wouldn't want them having one. I think as on a fluff standpoint, how degenerative their gene seed
Yeah,
and basically unstable their gene seed is, could you even make
yeah.
one with their gene seed?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't really
Yeah.
want them to have one because if they're able to successfully make one, then you've got super wolfen.
Yeah. And as if you could even truly make one successfully.
Yes.
And then by that notion, you could have them, while the Blood Angel secret is still a secret, they are known to be flawed gene seed wise.
Yep.
So then, boom, no Blood Angel gene seed. Because imagine Super Death Company. All of a sudden they
Yep.
succumb to the Black Rage. It's like, oh dear God. It's
Um, one.
and then the big thing is Dark Angels because the High Lords of Terror just didn't want to use their gene seed for anything. Would
Yes.
Guilliman feel the same?
Yeah.
And would the Dark Angels want their gene seed used like this?
The only thing that I'm thinking, honestly and for truly, is at least from what I'm seeing with from the trailer and all that, I actually think this is more of those it's not Gilliman is going, dude, give me your gene seed, I'm making a super space marine. It's more, hey dudes, I made a bunch of super space marines, you gotta incorporate them in your army, have fun with that. And all of them are ultramarine based.
Maybe. I mean, I could definitely see that being a thing too, but I
Because then
also,
Gilliman would have marines that he trusts because he's like, well, they're part of my gene seed, I know they'll do the job I want them to. In a chapter he may not trust to do the job that he says they wants them to be.
yeah, I can see the whole Order 66 approach, but I look at it, well, that's very clearly a possibility. Just the fact that we've had this gene seed tithing as part of Space Marine fluff period, this
Yeah.
could bring some interesting interplay. Like here are some Salamanders, Super Space Marines. Here
Yep.
are some Raven Guards, Super Space, and so forth. And then the whole idea of like the Raven Guard could protest and be like, "We never condone this. Well, you tithe your gene seed; it's null and void. We use it as we see fit. Now deal with these guys." Oh,
Yeah.
but
But they're
but
not good at stealthy, they're too big.
that type of interplay. I really think if they, to go the whole sterile mule approach deal, with G Seed, I don't. I think they shouldn't be purely Astartes. I think they should take the Outcast Dead approach to the novel of the Horus Heresy, and they should be Thunder Warriors meets Astartes to become Thunder Marines. Because Thunder Warriors are proto Space Marines, and they were larger, stronger, more aggressive than Space Marines.
Weren't they all wiped out?
Yes and no, because this is 40K. Nothing's ever purely wiped out.
Right,
But
there was that one book where they did run into a Thunder Warrior that was survived.
and that Thunder Warrior was doing genetic research because the thing about Thunder Warriors is they were made to be a temporary answer. They were
Yes.
made with a lot of genetic deficiencies, and they'd be degenerative and die off quickly. And once their job was done, the Proto Space Marine Legions and the Custodian Guard culled them, killed
Yep.
them all. So they thought. This one dude, and I think, and a couple others survived, and he was doing genetic research to prolong his lifespan, to weed out the impurities of a genetic code and basically temper it and make it better. And he did such via gene seed that he harvested
Mm.
in that novel. Spoilers, kind of, but who really cares? He's a Thunder Warrior that's not going to do anything anyway. But the point is, for the purposes of this, he's a Thunder Warrior that kind of made proof of concept with Space Marine gene seed. Thunder Warrior genomes can be tempered and cured, essentially, or at least made better.
Yeah.
And the Thunder Warrior template is a simple, primitive template that they could have access to knowledge of the databanks of from being a Primarch and being a call guy.
Yeah.
So you have access to these larger, stronger, more aggressive meat bags, bioforms, that you can then instill gene seed in and make them into Thunder Marines.
Chances are, like, that could be where the concept came from. During the Horus Harry age, Gilliman may have went, I need something a little bit stronger than a Space Marine, and Krall went, hey, I got this DNA pattern on how to make Thunder Warriors, and he's like, maybe we could work something with this.
I think it would be a neat way to kind of incorporate some old fluff that we never really had incorporated into a game, and it's a easy enough excuse for why they wouldn't have gene seed to be harvested, because it was all
Yeah.
used fuse into them to make a stable Thunder Marine. And they would be larger, stronger, and more aggressive than a typical Marine, now tempered by Space Marine gene seed and training. And you have a truly aggressive workhorse on your hands there. That could be interesting. Chances are it's going to be a Star Taste with gene seeds made.
Super gene seeds.
Yeah, like Kurt's founding style. But I don't know, because like the thing with Thunder Warriors is they're always forgotten about.
Yeah.
Their fluff's always like there was these things maybe.
Another thing to also really consider in this is, what if they're just the new Marine models?
Exactly. Because the one picture that people cite is blurry. You can't tell what you're looking at.
Well, there's one or two pictures that I've seen. One of them being one of the videos off their how-to, which people are forgetting is a Mark IV from Betrayal of Calth, because that's the video that Duncan did using the Betrayal of Calth set to do an Ultramarine. If you look at them, they have Stormhost legs. You could definitely tell that by the knee pad on one of them. And from what I'm hearing, they're only just maybe a hair bigger than a Deathwatch Marine, those new Marines that are slightly bigger than the current line. So they may not even be that much bigger than regular Space Marines. They may just be the new Space Marine model.
They could be, and you have to also kind of understand that by and large, the Deathwatch models, the only reason they appear bigger is they stand more upright than the regular models.
Yes, a lot of the other models have their legs kind of spread out.
And these guys, and the Deathwatch kill team models stand with their legs closer together, more upright, like they're doing stuff. So could they just be slightly bigger? Maybe to get the detail on there that they have on their arms or whatnot, but it could also be a matter of posing.
Yes, and it's not uncommon. I mean, if you look at the Marines through the ages, they have slowly gotten bigger.
Oh yeah, because the detail. You have to incorporate that detail.
Yeah.
But the one picture I've seen is a picture of Chaos versus Ultramarines and the concept. This is the new box set. Whatever
the
and in
Death
there
Guard
are
box set.
And within that there are 3 Ultramarine models, and it's blurry. The picture isn't super crisp to see yes, that's not anything that we know of as standard unit-wise. That looks a little bit bigger. Now it could be, like you said, new Spacian models, or maybe Centurion models that actually look good. Right? It could be that. You never know. So
let's see. There's a picture that I've been seeing on the interwebs that everyone's using and going, these definitely are new Marines. And that one's... I want to find it real quick because it's actually a much clearer picture of what everyone's been talking about.
Gotcha.
Let me just see if I can find this thing on here. Where's the announcement page?
Announcement.
Because it's what is it? It is boom. Let me see here. Trying to get to. Can't they just?
Well.
Okay, here we go. Check out the Warhammer.com. Under the game, there's a picture of a dude painting models, and everyone's noting that his tray is that the models are slightly bigger. Let me see if I can get the... Oh, they took it down. But there's a picture of a dude painting Marines, and it is the quintessential shot that everybody's been using, going, these are clearly bigger Marines. We could continue talking. I'll keep looking.
The one thing I will say is, whatever the case is with these guys, and thankfully this hasn't been the case for a while, but Chaos shouldn't get any.
Yeah.
This is clearly a Imperium thing. And I say that because, especially back in fourth and fifth, anytime Imperium Space Marines got something, Chaos would get it in some capacity too. We saw that also with Imperial Knights, which was kind of annoying because the Imperial Knight lore was all like, there are so ridiculously few Renegade Knights because they're hunted down mercilessly by their Loyalist brethren, and most of them, and very few went traitor to begin with. And then here's Chaos Renegade Knights. It's like,
Uh,
which was,
to
but
be fair on that front, I feel like that was more of a just appeasing people so they'll buy them
oh
because
yeah,
there
of
was a lot of
course.
people going, well, I don't want to buy it, I can't use it.
Oh yeah, of course there's that. But it's just a case of, you know, thankfully it hasn't been quite the same way as whatever Imperium gets, Chaos gets. But
Yes.
uh, I really don't want to see Chaos eventually get this thing at all. If this is a government project for the 41st millennium when they first come to be, let them be purely loyal, and you could explain away that they're just from their aggression enhancement, everything that their enhancement, they don't got time to care about chaos. It's like we don't need. They're just an elite choice. It's not like this is Now, obviously, what players do with the models is their own desire. I just mean rules wise. Uh, like if a chaos player wants to get those models and chaosify them to be like their chaos lord, so be it. Whatever,
Uh,
cool. But as long as it doesn't come out in the next chaos rulebook of chaos super space marines,
well, chances are they're going to probably make something and say it's Fabius Bile.
it'll be able. Fabius Bio won't be able to get to the same because Fabius Bio has had these like enhanced marines, unstable as they are. So as long as that's one thing that I'm surprised not many people are like griping about. But he's like, but Fabius Bile did it first. Yeah, but he's not a Primarch. He's not Call, and he doesn't have a Primarch to work with because Chaos doesn't like to work with itself.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. If it's not Thunder Marines, for lack of a better term, it's probably going to be Curse Founding but successful,
Yeah.
which would be interesting as well. Um, One thing of note is in the teaser we see there it looks like at the very least, if it's not their straight up creation process and it's their maturing process, they're all in vats. Now we know Space Marines traditionally are not in vats. They have
Yep.
to be children
Implanted.
implanted with the organs, and they have to grow, mature, and survive the process. So this is it looks like a very different process, which is why I am a fan of the concept of it not just being based Astartes, but maybe based Thunder Warriors or something like that. I definitely don't think Custodian Guard have lent any help to this at all with their gene structure. I
Mm.
think their gene structure is too arcane and advanced, and too like they're the Custodian Guard, right?
Yes.
They still only answer to the Emperor,
That is true.
truthfully. So I don't think they would have done it anyway. And the last thing I want is anything to like. Hopefully the custodian, like with these new guys, hopefully they're not going to be straight up custodian guard stat wise. Hopefully they're a little bit weaker. And I say that because this is the custodian guard we're talking about. They were the first gene thing ever made by the Emperor.
Yep.
They were the first, and they are by far the most advanced, save for the Primarchs. So it would be really kind of silly, lore-wise, if you will, to have this Mechanicum dude and have a Primarch go, we will make something better than what the Emperor invested so much time in.
If they could even do that.
Exactly. So that's why, like, I have seen some rumors on interwebs that maybe like this is Custodian Guard Space Marine hybrids, and therefore it's a little bit weaker, but more mass producible. And I'm like, I don't know. I really don't see the Custodian Guard doing that. Plus, there's no like if the war gear was maybe more reminiscent of a hybridization of the two. But while we don't really have definitive pictures, chances are, from what people are citing, they're going to be equipped with like maybe heavy bolters as bolters or something. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if anything, they're going to be
It
equipped
looks
very
like
much
they're
Space
going to
Marine.
be. It looks like they're going to be some kind of. I think they may just be a regular bolter. It may have an extra shot or maybe special ammunition. I don't see them getting. If again, this is all speculation. I don't see them giving them like a super bolter to go on top of what they're getting.
You never know. Probably not. If any, like that's why I'm saying they could pull what Korax did in one of the audio novellas, where he wielded a heavy bolter
Mm.
like it was a bolt pistol technically, but they could wield the heavy bolts. Like if they're supposed if they are going to be bigger, Marines, and model wise definitively shows that. I could see them maybe wielding a heavy bolter and being like, yeah, whatever, it's my rifle. So you never know, but um, I don't know. It's just I find it interesting, but also I find it kind of weird. This whole concept, because what are Space Marines in the Imperial lore? They are your super soldiers.
Yep.
They are
This.
the forces where a handful of drop pods can turn the tide of an entire campaign.
Yes. That's the picture a lot of people have been using.
Okay. Yeah, that's weak sauce.
But that's been the picture everyone's been going, they look bigger. And the one in the back has the same knee guard as the one in the quote unquote leaked picture, that one Marine that's standing next to a rogue trader Imperial Guard, so he looks huge next to him.
Yeah, yeah.
He has the same
No,
he has the same knee pad, so everyone's going, that must be a new Super Marine.
if for all the rumor and hubbub about it being Mark 10 armor, I think it would look a bit different than that. That looks like Mark 7 made big. Like,
Yeah.
so, I mean, who knows? That's a little weak for me personally, but hey, it's something that people are talking about, so
Yeah.
it causes discussion. But like, I don't know. The teaser trailer talked about how, like, the Space Marines are embattled, and I shall bring forth a force that can save them, basically. And it's like, don't turn Space Marines into the Imperial Guard now that needs saving every 5 minutes. Just don't do that, because it's a little ridiculous.
I could see it happening, but not on the scale of the Guard.
Yeah, I mean, because they've been embattled and beleaguered before, but
Yep.
it's just the Space Marines are. I mean, they're not good guys. Nobody really is in 40k, but they are the force, because Custodian Guard aren't really a military per se in the traditional sense. So the Space Marines are the cream of the crop when it comes to the forces of the Imperium. And now, like, I can see people bringing up the question, well, can these new Space Marines be interred in dreadnoughts? Would it be just a standard dreadnought? And I'm like, of course it would. Just because they're bigger and stronger doesn't mean the dreadnought's got to be bigger and stronger. I mean, it's a dreadnought, but it's just, I imagine they will probably only be able to put in a Land Raider or whatever. I don't know. They're probably gonna have the bulky rule. So it's just, I don't think they'll do this to their poster child, which is the Space Marine for 40k. But
Yes.
there's always there. It's at the cusp of potentially, like, watering down Space Marine, like, grandeur, and I really doubt it will get to that point. But it makes you look at it and go, heresy is not one gigantic step, but a series of small steps. Be careful. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to take one leap, but you take enough steps, and all of a sudden you create a monster. It's like, whoa, whoopsies. And I don't see them becoming the Stormcast of 40k. You know what I mean? Because that's a whole factionary force.
Yeah.
Like, if they really are going to be just an elite choice, I don't think they're going to Stormcast Eternal them like Age of Sigmar got. I don't see that happening. Period. I don't see how it could, unless they made them their own standalone faction, which would be weird. So, do you think it could go further than this? Like, if they are just a faction, do you think maybe they might be an HQ choice? Looking future down the line.
I do not think so. What I think will happen is, well, going off of just what we know of 40k right now and where 8th edition is going, I think there might be a character, but I don't think he can be a warlord, is what I think will happen.
Makes sense.
So you'll have, like, Gillimismo Machinmus, the original, who is the best and has been the only one from the original crop that survived battles and have done everything, and Gilliman loves him so much because he's so much like him, type of thing. would be my guess. And or maybe they may make a character where it's like, this faction really, really, really doesn't like the Super Space Marines, but this guy's okay, so they get him. Type of thing will probably be what we see for them. I don't foresee. I think they're going to wait and see how the sales do on them if they are their own unit to see if it's worth making characters for them.
Yeah, there's always that. It's
because profit.
It's a weird place to be right now because we know all the Codex books are going obsolete.
Yep, and we know the factions are transferring over.
Yeah, so the question is, in essence, how these new books will be coming. Like, I'm assuming. I'm still going to call them a codex until they actually are called something different, if at all. I highly doubt it.
From the Q&A session that they had, they're still codexes.
So, like, how exactly they're going into their new books for the purposes of these guys, right? Like, because on the one hand, they are clearly more important than Centurions were when they came out of nowhere, right? Like, Centurions were a thing, came in the Space Marine Codex, whatever. It wasn't like a make or break. It wasn't like a hype train for these guys. They're just here.
Yeah.
These guys have a teaser trailer for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, is it gonna be another regular Space Marine Codex only unit? Because that's gonna hurt sales, and just in general.
I think, honestly, I am going off the idea because I will not be surprised. Excuse me. Yeah, I feel the making it anyone can use them will be the more unlikely thing. I think them being a Codex Space Marine only unit is very much what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think too. So also, but then I look towards what became of the Legion of the Damned, which was just here's a codex, quote unquote, which totally not. That and here are rules, and here is how they are, a battle for brothers in arms, yada yada yada, for whoever wants to take them. I don't think this is going to go that route. I think this will definitely be in a codex, but I also look at then Sternguard. Sternguard are in Blood Angels, as well as the Space Marine Codex.
Yes.
So I see precedent to go one of three ways: the Centurion route, only that codex; the Sternguard Vanguard route, in essence, where it goes into another codex; or the Legion of Damned, the most unlikely scenario, where you buy a data slate and you can use it for any Imperial force.
Now, honestly, with them being their own force and all that, in the way that, like, all the information I'm hearing and seeing and everything, I'm very strongly of the opinion that GW is going to make them a Space Marine Codex only unit, but within the way the rules are done, they could be thrown into any army very easily. And because of the way the Force organization charts works, they don't need to make them their own codex or anything, because the Force organization charts already do the work of making them their own army.
No, right, yeah, of course. I'm looking at it just thinking, like, because they're not they're not going to be a codex force. We know that. Yeah. Like, they're not going to be like Tau or Eldar or something like that, in terms of having their own full-on codex, full-on range.
Well, just wait. GW actually listens to your podcast for ideas, and they go, "That's a brilliant idea."
Which, whatever. Good luck making them not feel like just bigger Space Marines. But like, my point is, I feel like this type of hype for this type of thing, which is sounds like Super Space Marines, most likely will be just a regular Space Marine Codex thing, and the only other force where it could conceivably make sense for GNC stability purposes, yada yada, would be the Dark Angels, but I very much doubt it on the Dark Angel side of it being a thing. You know what I mean? Because it's like, well, we have our Deathwing. We're not going to trust something you make or something out of your project for our inner circle. and our Deathwing are elite, and we don't need to do anything else. So it's probably going to be a case of just like Centurions, only in the Space Marine Codex. Now, as far as the lore behind them and what squad upgrades they might get, you know, that's a whole nother mess of worms. So you can't even really begin to speculate, because while I very much doubt that they'll get like a unique basic weapon,
Mm.
I could see them getting something as a special upgrade only for that unit. It happens.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, what it would be, I don't know. Like, are they gonna get lost tech? Are they gonna get some ancient tech brought forward because it's Guilliman? It's like, I remember these things. They were the awesome of cool. Give it to these guys. Like,
Or chances are Gilliman's gonna go, but he's gonna the Dark Angels won't let me have their rift cannon. I'm gonna make better rift cannons that are portable and on Space Marines. And then we're gonna have the super mega portal cannon.
well, super mega portal cannons are a thing apparently,
And
but
and it'll have Gilliman's face on it. That's it. He'll rig it where it shoots Gilliman's face out of it.
but like, I really do. In all seriousness, I could see them getting something
Mm.
like and or starting with something. Now, I highly doubt the starting with something thing, but again, you never know. Now, the thing is, looking at them as a unit, the whole rumor mill, for whatever reason, is Mark 10. I don't know why that became the rumor, but Mark 10 power armor is the rumor for whatever reason.
Yes.
I honestly, I don't know where that came from, but
I have no clue, but that's what everyone's saying. I guess the theory is that, which I can see, them doing, is, currently that it's been said that Mark 9 is being worked on. And Kroll went, you know what? No. Forget those tech priests that are building Mark 9. They won't let me in on the party. I'll make Mark 10 and make theirs obsolete.
I could see that. But like, I guess what I'm saying is, whatever the reasoning for it being Mark 10 plus, who knows?
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to get some special rules. Like, I would be really kind of disappointed if it's like, hey, they are in their own super unique mark of power armor, which does nothing. Like, like I have to imagine it's, that, yeah, marks 1 through 8 are just 3+ armor saves, right? We know this. We know this. But like, then you have Artificer armor, which is super enhanced power armor, and that's why it has Terminator saves for armor. But like, I'm not saying Mark 10s are going to be Artificer. I mean, it could be. Who knows? But it could have something else in there. It could have move through cover. It could have an invulnerability save attached to it innately. It could have Relentless, or it could do. There's a lot they could do to represent this being a highly advanced mark of armor, and that's honestly what if it truly is an advanced mark of armor, and it's not just these guys are in bigger power armor, hooray! But if it's truly like an advanced power armor design, that makes me kind of excited, because the Imperium is so stagnant with technological like progression.
Yes.
That if this is technological progression, that would be awesome. Especially considering Mark 7 power armor was basically getting its final touches during the Siege of Terra. Like, it's 10,000-year-old armor.
Yeah.
Like, which is so stupid to me, considering you've went from Mark 2 to Mark 7 in the span of like 3 centuries, let's just say. And then you have Mark 8, which who knows how old that is, and it's been in the works kind of sort of. And, so this new Mark is like literally brand spanking new armor, which is like, let's see what the Imperium can do if they actually don't fear making new tech. Because that is something that would be cool. Like, as much as I like the idea of this armor is a relic of an age that people can't even count, that's fine. Like, whatever, that's cool. But this armor is shiny and new and super advanced is also pretty cool. That's one of the things that's attractive about Tau, is that's their entire force. It's bit shined and brand new. But, the Imperium, and they do make armor and marks. They do make improvements. It's just very slow going. So if we can actually see something that is like, this is a 41st millennium built armor mark with special rules to boot,
Mm.
That's just an interesting insight of what maybe the Imperium could actually do if they stop going, what do you mean this is new? This isn't analog? It's heresy. It's like you must have to blow on the cartridge. I don't want no CDs. Like that gets a little old when
Yeah.
everything is a relic of a bygone age. It's like, well, do you guys make anything anymore? What is going on?
No, nobody makes anything anymore.
The Mechanicum all just for show. They just do nothing all day.
Basically.
But yeah. So what? Okay, to kind of get things going to a head here to wrap up a bit, getting there. Your biggest hope and concern for this.
Biggest hope, biggest concern. Biggest hope, biggest concern. Biggest hope, I would have to say, is that they are stick with the idea that they're an elite choice. I kind of like the idea that every Space Marine can have them, and they are basically Gilliman's Watchmen on all the chapters. That's probably my biggest hope. I kind of like that idea of basically this whole Gilliman going, I don't trust anybody anymore. All I can trust is myself. And kind of shows this whole, maybe it's not a good thing he's back. You know, awesome, we have a Primarch, we have the next best thing to the Emperor, but is this really a good idea? I kind of like that idea behind it. Biggest fear, biggest concern about them is they're going to spiral out of control and become an army.
Fair enough. I could definitely see that being a concern. Um, my hope for them is that it's. I guess the best way to put it is it's inevitability that you have to tell the story now. This is now a story part that you can't just say, and then there were big Marines. Moving on, like
moving on.
like this is something where you have to. As you know, I'm always a proponent of let's push this timeline forward, people. Let's actually get past it. So I'm like, this is just something else that's further putting momentum behind. Story has to get pushed forward. Like them being around, like, well, why are they around? We know how they were made. Well, we will once they come out. But but now why? And the concept of them being like what, like Gulliman's eyes and ears is kind of like his custodian guard almost is kind of interesting. I like the concept that I like your concept of Gulliman being around is that like yeah, it's a good thing, but at what cost? Because one thing I like that's been circulating the interwebs is like a picture of Gulliman with people putting quotes to it like, "Why am I still alive? The age of reason is dead. We let the Emperor down," type of deal. Like this is as bad as losing to Horus or Abaddon. So like I like that concept where the Gulliman's like, I'm back, but this is not how I left it. This is terrible. And
this is not what I ordered.
Yeah, this is not what the Emperor would. This is not what my father wants. And I like this as being perhaps the tip of the iceberg of him trying to bring the Age of Reason back. That could be cool, going along the whole like eyes and ears thing. So my biggest hope is that we get actual story content pushed forward with these things. Like, and my biggest hope also is that they are a success. I'm sick and tired of, but is it really a success? You know what I mean? Like just let it be a success. I'm like, it's old. The whole concept of, but only time will tell if it's not really a horrible mistake. That's like when Mephiston went from being he conquered the thirst to did he really? It's like, no, he conquered it. End of story. Stop. So I'm hoping this is just, and they succeeded. Hooray! Like, and so that's my biggest hope. My biggest concern wouldn't be that they would be an army per se, but my biggest concern for them is, I guess, in essence, like I wouldn't be opposed to them eventually being an army if they could make them feel unique. Like Custodian Guard feel unique.
Yes.
They don't play like Space Marines. these things would have to have yet a third style for being some super awesome gene enhanced warriors that don't feel like Space Marines, so that we
Yeah.
have justification for it. So if they did that, that wouldn't be an issue for me. My biggest concern for them is almost like shiny syndrome. Oh, this is the next greatest thing, so Space Marines are instantly trash now without them. Like that's my
Mm.
biggest concern. Like it's gonna like which I we talked about briefly, is like they will will they completely outshine, overshadow a chapter with like if a chapter doesn't have them or other Space Marine chapters going, can't believe you don't have the next greatest thing. Look at you, weakling.
Mm.
Like hopefully that's not it. And my concern with that is Chaos Renegade forces of Space Marines over the editions went from being in existence as trade allegiance and some renegade forces, but a rarity type deal, to be like every other chapter falls to chaos. Um, is what it feels like. And the last
Mm.
thing I want is this to be like, behold my newest creations. All right, and you go form a chaos cult. I know it's gonna happen. Like, and I like, I just not everything has to be Grey Knight stature of purity, but not everything in the Imperium has to have a chaos version. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's my biggest concern is that hype train running away and going like, and you get Super Space Marines and you get Super Space Marines and Tau, you get Super Space Marine auxiliaries. Wait, what? Excuse me? It's like that's my biggest concern. Also, my big model wise, I know they can do good models,
Mm.
just not silly. Like, don't pull a Wolfman on them. By that I mean like obviously not going to be hairy and stuff like that, but I mean
Yeah.
with really weird dynamic posing, like with arms flat out. Like don't put them in the Crane style or anything like that or
Mm.
Mantis style. Like have them be the professional super soldier.
Yeah.
That type of setup. And aside from that, I say let the good times roll with these guys. I think as much as it would be cool for them to be amongst all the forces as basically Gulliman's custodian guard in essence,
Yeah.
I feel logistically they probably will just be in that Space Marine Codex, like we mentioned, um, just for reasons. Now, it could be a good starting point. Will this tip the Space Wolves over the edge? Will this make the Dark Angels kind of reveal some hands here, or like make them go, you know what? No, this is stupid. You're stupid. Like,
Yeah.
like, what will this do? And how will the chapters react to it? It also brings the question, so codex compliance out the window now? Question mark. Like
Um.
we already know that Space Marines are bigger than 1,000 Space Marines when they're at full strength anyway, because that 1,000 only accounts for the company's composition, not the command squads, not the HQ, stuff like that.
I think on that front, I think Gilliman is definitely going to re-look at it and decide that maybe there's going to be some changes. Um, but who knows, really? Like, this
Yeah,
is
I
one of
mean,
these big, gotta wait and see, I feel.
yeah. If anything, if they're gonna be a certain unit, it'd be really cool if they were Super Space Marines that brought back a Heresy era formation of Space Marines in a bigger, better form.
That
Like,
would be interesting.
because you have like not that they'll be recon squads. I highly doubt that. Not that they're going to be straight up destroyer squads either, because they don't look like they will be. But just the idea of like the heresy. One thing Forge Rule did, and to their credit, was really show what Spaceman arsenals were as legions. And this would be interesting if Gulliman goes, you know what? These guys are big and bad. They can handle it. You know, I remember when I was commanding legions. This unit. Let's make this unit a thing again with these guys. It'll be awesome. That could be interesting. Um, of course, time will tell how useful they are. Like you and I find Centurions hideous, but they're so strong in forces nowadays. So could this be a case where these guys are awesome, but they're just not used because of min-max reasons? I don't know. We really can't say how viable these things are until we see a unit entry. So.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't get out of hand. Hopefully it progresses some story along. And, this seems like a linchpin catalyst for his whole Indominus crusade, whatever
Yep.
that's going to be. So,
From my understanding, I believe the Indominus Crusade is him just going, I'm going to push back Abaddon.
yeah, and, basically reconquer, like, basically the next Great Crusade, it feels like.
Basically.
Kind of, sort of, only without legions. Because we have to have small. I don't know. I prefer. I always want Gollum to say, "Screw it, legions for everyone."
That would be nice, but then he'd have to say another idea he had went is bad.
Well, maybe
He after the whole Imperial Secondists, I think he really does. He really wants to avoid ever saying, "Yeah, this was a bad idea."
well, Imperial Secondus wasn't bad per se. It was just bad because the Imperium Primaris still existed.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't realize that, hey, you can still defend this thing. And the chapters would have been a good idea in an age of reason, but we're
Yeah.
not in an age of reason. So, I don't know. It's just all interesting things, and it makes me wonder though: are we going to see another Imperial Primarch? Because he's doing a lot of things as one Primarch's mind and vision, and Son of the Emperor will do.
Mm.
Now, Chaos, we have throughout time a whole bunch of Primarchs doing whatever. So, like, will there be a second Imperial Primarch, and will this radically shake up how Crusades progress in the future?
Rumor is the Lion's coming back.
Well, he's the only other one really that we know where he is. So.
The only other one that could possibly come back is the Khan, because Komura's kind of in shambles now.
Well, that and Vulcan.
Yes, Vulcan. He could just say, "You guys took way too long on my scavenger hunt."
Yeah, basically. It's like, you didn't even find the most favorite thing yet. Boo-hoo. But, like, so that would be interesting because, let's say another Primarch does show up. What happens to these Super Space Marines then? Is
Yeah.
It like, continues? Is it further refined? Or is it stop this madness and then we have Nova, Terra, and, again? So, I don't know. I'm looking, like, I haven't heard too much backlash about these guys, to be honest. But I haven't been specifically seeking it out either. So
Yeah.
I don't know how the reception is for these guys. I know there's a lot of people going, "WTF, mate? What's going on here? This was random." So share in the comment section, of course, what you think. Do you have different hopes, dreams, desires, and fears for these guys? And if so, what be they be, basically? And any particular statement for these guys on you finalizing things, words, excitement, drama?
Not really. I'd say the one thing that I would think is the thing that I'd be thinking is just, let's see where this goes. I mean, so far GW hasn't been making a lot of decisions where I've been like, come on, really? Seriously, guys? So I like to keep the faith that they're going to continue with that trend.
Yeah, me too. They have been doing pretty good. I will say this, however. I get it. Super Space Marines. If Space Marines are good, Super Space Marines better. I get it. Like, in terms of, like, popularity and models, excitement, sales, profit, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Can we, for the love of everything, get some Xenos love? Can we get some Sisters of Battle? Like, can we get some?
Do you want Super Guardians?
No. I just mean, like, in general.
No, it's official. Super Guardians.
Super Guardians. No, I mean, no, Super Immortals. No, but, like, just
pariahs.
This is cool, but there is that whole other half that is Xenos.
Well, this is what I think on that front, because they're going to be introducing a new Xenos race.
Really?
Yes, apparently one of the things coming out with 8th edition is a new Xeno race.
No, have you taken a look at, just as a quick aside, have you taken a look at the armies tab in the 40k section, how long it is?
I'm hoping Exodites, because Eldar riding dinosaurs is awesome. But on that front, I want to, on this quick aside, I want GW to pump the brakes. I know they love pumping out new armies in Age of Sigmar, but what 40k needs is not new armies. 40k needs
what they got.
40k needs proper treatment of all the armies currently. If you do that, You'll see sales on everything. You don't need to keep throwing out new armies to get people to buy. You just give each. If you give Tyranids the same love you give Space Marines, Tyranids will sell. You don't need to make Tyranid cults, Xenothropes, a whole new army faction based on the Zonothrope to make them sell. Just make Zonothropes good, and people will buy them.
Yeah, I obviously keep everything balanced and everything, but like when you look at the armies tab, it's so ridiculously long, and almost half of them really aren't armies to begin with. Like there's Imperial Knights and then Renegade Knights. Renegade Knights aren't an army; it's just knights.
Their rule is you can only have one of them, and they have to be with chaos.
Yeah, so it's like that could use some cleaning up. But I'm behind that concept. A whole of the Xenos faction has me go, ugh, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And then like supporting what we have.
Even there's one here. The Fallen aren't an army.
No, yeah,
they're an attachment to other armies.
Yeah, so like this kind of goes back to the whole let's hope these super things don't go out of hand. All of a sudden, like hopefully when the next edition hits, it's not going to be the armies tab right now. Space Marine, Blood Angels, Dark Angels, and everything. Hopefully, it's not Space Marines, Super Space Marines, Blood Angels. Like hopefully, it's just like this is a kit. It's in the Space Marine section.
For anyone's curious, there are 30 army tabs.
30?
Sorry. Yes, 30 tabs.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's absurd.
Yes, and some of those are mini factions within a codex that don't have their own codex, but you need a different codex to use, like Thousand Suns. Corn Demon Kin, you do need their thing. Like we have Thousand Suns, we've got the Fallen, we've got Astra Militarum Tempestus, Renegade Knights, Scutari, and
like Cult Mechanicus are two separate books, but they should never have been to begin with.
Yes. But, so yeah, little crazy. And
so hopefully
Custodian Guards and Sisters of Silence, weren't they always like a group army? Like yes, they were separate, but they technically were one.
Well, they were the two leaders were the hands of the Emperor, and they were always separate, but they were built together by Forge rules in a very neat way, calling them the Towns of the Emperor.
Yeah,
they could have just done that, but they didn't. But it's just with these Super Space Marines.
Yeah, like don't get it out of control.
We don't need a 31st tab where it's just one kit.
Yeah,
that's it.
And one kit and a character. Because chances are, I bet you for nothing, if these Super Marines sell, they'll make a character. And he'll be like Gulliman's commander of all the Super Marines. All the Super Marines answer to him. Yeah,
it's just, I don't know. Hopefully, with the next edition, they'll rein it in a bit and it won't explode. But we'll see. But yeah, that's my biggest, Super Space Marine thing is they better just be a kit in the Space Marine section, and that's it. Don't make them a whole separate tab. Looking at that. But with that said, I think we kind of summed up a lot of stuff here with the Super Space Marines.
Yeah.
Really will be interested to see the backstory and how they are formed, and I would really love it if they were Thunder Marines, just to be something different, like just to justify their existence.
A little bit more,
because the GNC is just a super distilled Primarch essence. That's what it is. Space Marines are really, really watered down Primarchs. Fantastic, but nowhere near the concentrate that the Primarchs are. So you could just have really enhanced GNC to make more concentrated, powerful Space Marines, but then you have the whole GNC stick and everything. So if you just make them Thunder Warriors and Space Marine hybrids, I think it opens up a whole interesting thing there. And I just think I think that's easy to explain away than go, there's Super Space Marines, but we can't harvest GNC because reasons.
Yeah.
So anyways, thanks for tuning in. Again, share your thoughts. Don't forget that Fearless Games is a podcast every month. Check it out. We discuss 40K stuff and non-40K stuff, and sometimes I don't even know what we discuss, but there's words said and things are discussed. So it's always fun. Um, with that said, I think we're done here.
Alrighty. Later,
Yeah,
guys.
so